we got a 3 for today because life situation has been complicated and keeping me from actually doing my job here. Starting with the first of these three, Mugatu Gumatu. The title itself is a bit of a reference back to the fact that in the original episode, original series episode, A Private Little War. The Mugatu. Well, the thing is, the original script was called the Gumatu, Gumatu, but nobody could pronounce it, especially D. Kelly. He kept saying Mugatu, so they just went with Mugatu. And it's like, fine, whatever. We don't see it on screen anyway. Who cares? Although I think the wrong thing is still in the credits somewhere, or a call sheet. But they kind of play on that, and it's like they're all over the map. Everyone's pronouncing it. Even Shaq's pronounces it 3 different ways when they're going around. And of course, Shaq's tasting the Mugatu dong. It's like, no, please, no, you don't. Oh, fresh, tangy. Oh God. Yeah. Even Mariner's about to throw up on that one. But they had a little side plot of the rumor going that Mariner is actually a Black Ops operative and skilled in every way. And look over the table, she's playing Mumbly Peg with a duck talk. And the fact she just got kicking in both Boimler and Rutherford's asses in Ambujitsu. Really, just wailed on their bruised and bandaged at the bar. But, they managed to get actually dealing with a pretty serious subject, and they really didn't flinch from it either. But of course, it's lower decks. You're gonna get a winger in there, and in a very humorous way. But also the fact you encounter Ferengi who are poaching Mugatu and selling their parts, like some of the third, like rhino horn type thing. The same thing with the Ferengi, and just doing all kinds of skins and whatever, and just being horrible. And they really get into it, but they don't flinch from it. They don't play games with that one. But it's just the way these characters deal with it. That's where the fun comes in. And Rutherford's still trying to get his head together because they're carrying over story arcs from the previous seasons. And Boimler's still they're looking askance at Mariner, because especially when during the big breakout when apparently the Ferengi had the ready to let loose all the Mugatus that got captured. And they're looking around, chaos is everything, and they see Mariner stabbing Shax in the shoulder and biting onto his shoulder and they run up. Find out later, no, because he was bitten by Mugatu and she had to suck up the poison. It's just a rumor she started so people would leave her alone. And why is she so good? Because she can do it by herself. She doesn't, she can practice on this thing. And again, so people leave her alone. But now she has friends, so she's having trouble adjusting. There is real character development going on here. This isn't just thing. But they also they set up something earlier where Rutherford and Boimler are playing a little kind of diplomacy game, and they're using trade deals and stuff, and they win by when they reach a deal that nobody's happy with, basically. If both sides are not satisfied, they won, sort of, by both losing. And this comes back, because remember, we're dealing with Ferengi. So, Mariner gets captured and put in the thing with Shax, and they're being all mean and, stun whips and everything. And in come Mariner and Rutherford with what apparently it looks like a Gorn bamboo cannon from Marina. It's actually a holo projector where they put up a flash, a flash presentation on alternative methods dealing with where they can actually make more money and turn it into a Mugatu attraction with live Mugatus, and they can make like ticket sales, merchandise, and everything else. And the beauty of it is when Shaq's saying, what are they doing? They're saving our butts with the power of math right back in Discovery's face. That is how you do it. And it really, it's like the one person on Twitter, I think, I forget who it was. One of the guys on Twitter said that Discovery, no, it's not part of Kurtzman Trek. It's an indictment of Kurtzman Trek. And they're doing it from within the castle walls. That's the beauty of it. I imagine the Kurtzman might have seen that and never occurred to him. They're slapping you in the face with this, you dumbass. And they managed to get a thing when, this one guy was buying stuff, basically tried to pull an insurance scam on the Cerritos, make off with a shuttlecraft and all of Captain Freeman's knickknacks. And then it's like, they get a notice from Starfleet. Yeah, somebody's been doing a thing where ship conveniently explodes and they try to make it like Starfleet's fault. Oh, really? And he didn't get very far. They put a tractor beam back on the shuttle. Okay, we'll try this again. So they get back all their stuff and we'll pretend this didn't happen, right? But and Mariner's learning to open up a little bit, and find out that the bartender on the Cerritos really is very gullible and believes everything he's told. So I think we're telling these very spooky stories. Yeah, you don't know this. And then moving on to an embarrassment of Dooplers. Second time I watched this one, but Richard Kind does a great job. He's a very distinctive voice. I couldn't picture right in front, but I knew I heard it. It was Richard Kind. He's been in a lot of stuff, but he's one of these guys. That's the only voice he does. So, not really fair to call him a voice actor because he's done voice work. Let's put it that way. But the character called the Dooplers, where it's like if you upset them somehow, they duplicate. And if they're really upset, then the duplicates start duplicating, and then pretty soon it's like neurotic tribbles. They're overrunning the ship, which kind of spoils the plans because they're on their way to Starbase 25, where we end setting up, trying to do some kind of negotiating trade with the Dooplers, but also get there just in time for the big Federation, command conference where they have a big blowout party. Been doing it for years. And this kind of, that doesn't sound like Starfleet. It does sound like modern military, though. The Air Force dining out, big soiree. That's a big thing to go to. I never went. I had no interest in this sort of thing. Funny way I identify with the lower decks crew. That's why I'm happy.
Kind of like Tailhook, huh?
Kind of, yeah. Tailhook, dining out, yeah, that sort of thing. They're the military have these kind of where they just let loose and go crazy. And they make in referring back to William Boimler, Boimler's transporter clone who's still on the Titan. Well, it turns out the Titan is clear across the sector dealing with the Pac-Led, so they won't be there in time. Therefore, Mariner has a great idea that Boimler could just log into his invites. They're doing nothing, and I'll be your +1. So they're going to crash the party. And, of course, with the chaos on the bridge, another little throwback to that documentary about Shatner on the first couple seasons of Next Gen. They're not going to notice another transporter override. So, they get their dress uniforms and sneak onto the station. And while Tendi and Mariner are building a model of the Cerritos, apparently it had started before the memory thing, so he's looking to try and catch up on what he was doing before he lost his memory and trying to get that. And this thing, it's extremely accurate in the fact that it's actually working. The engines work, the phasers work, shoot some gutty across the room in the bar. And while they're in the bar doing this, then Shax walks in with a couple of Dooplers and is like, all right, this place is, they're duplicating as he's saying, this place has been designated for a Doopler holding. So they have to leave. And of course, you're leaving because of us? Isn't that obvious? Oh my God! And they start duplicating more. So it's just cascading effect. And they're trying to avoid getting crushed by the onslaught of Dooplers. Meanwhile, on the station, Mariner and Boimler, of course, Mariner's, how much has changed? Because you used to live here. Of course you did. And get hooked up with some guy trying to move some illegal merchandise, and turns out it's really illegal because underneath the bottles of Commander Data Bubble Bath, maybe one or two lures, maybe tell them by the smirk, are Klingon disruptors, and of course station security is about ready to nail them. But Mariner's like, fortunately, they're bad drivers. What do you mean, fortunately? And then it's got a mall chase out of the Blues Brothers, going all through, crashing through things. And this one actually has two references going back to the animated series episode Jihad. Because you have the kind of bug-like, it was M3 something, in the original episode. These are the type of ants that are the door guys. They were looking at the list and also tending bar and serving drink. But there's also a couple of avians in this holodeck thing. Oh, move to there, it'll be great. That's so they are really, they're mining Star Trek history for all it's worth. And again, instead of making hundreds of verbal references, they're throwing the Easter eggs on the screen. The bar fill a small notebook by itself, just the pictures on the wall, the model of the Guardian on the shelf behind the bar. There's a model of the Phoenix sitting there. It's loaded with stuff. The batless everywhere. So Boimler gets in because William Boimler, the USS Titan, and she tries to go on. Hey, where are you? I'm with it. No, back at Mariner, Voyager D. No. Back at Mariner, USS Cerritos, not allowed, only Luna class and up. It's like, hey! Which kind of shows, there's a bit of a snobbery going on. They look down on the lower tier they're not real Starfleet, so. And you got all, Shelby's in there with her first officer and a bunch of other guys. And you can tell, which ones are the regular Starfleet because they got the same dress uniforms as in Insurrection. Those kind of white, and then Boimler and Mariner in just a white version, white gold trim version of their regular uniforms. But going through that, and then they finally figure out that if they make the Dooplers mad, they recombine. So they're up there cussing them out left and right. They finally coalesce back into one guy. So now they can finally dock because they've got the situation under control because the captain of the station, I can't afford the station being overrun Dooplers. You're not allowed to dock yet. They finally get there. The party's going all night, but they won't be let in because they're Cerritos. They don't want it. So the big capper is, the Dooplers, someplace I can go to relax. I know just the place to be right into the party. And of course, but the great little thing, thing in the bar, where find out that years and years earlier, so the bartender at least was trying to sound like Guinan. It wasn't Whoopi Goldberg. If it was uncredited. But it wasn't in the credits. Kirk and Spock carved into the bar. The blonde one did most of the drinking, but this party's been going on for generations. And then the rest of the command group wind up at the bar. Get little notifications here about on the phone about what an idiot Biden is. Anyway, they're fine. Then Freeman's like, and Captain Freeman told him, it's worked out because these are the people I want to hang out with anyway. Forget those losers. And then that's pretty much so. Some of these episodes, like the writers, man, saying how much Star Trek can we cram into 22 minutes, and they are really doing it because again, a lot of it now they're going with just visual Easter eggs, like into the bar. There's pictures all over the wall, and every picture is like one of Baylock, because one of the other Voyager, and and it's loaded stuff. The Telosians are on there somewhere. And then this week's episode, the Spy Humongous. Captain Freeman is dispatched to try and work out a ceasefire with the pack lads. The hell was that? Oh, Grubhub. I haven't actually started with them yet. I got the app, but I'm waiting until things stabilize a bit elsewhere before I start doing extra. Whatever. I'll edit this out. Okay. This week's episode, The Spy Humongous. Captain Freeman is dispatched to try and negotiate a ceasefire with the pack lads. And they beam up. Oh, one guy tries to... supposedly escapes from and he shows up on the Cerritos with the shuttle, and he seems to be trying to ransom somebody. We got a package that just came on board and he's kicking the sign. This is a strong ship, is strong. I could live here. I think it's just a question of asylum. But they ordered, him and the Tamarian, the guy, the one who's trying to learn to speak regular instead of always in metaphors. And he's doing pretty good. They just slips in a couple times here and there. But they're supposed to, basically, take this guy around, but keep an eye on. This guy's making no bones about. He's obviously asked by. I want to see your warp core. I want to see your shield frequencies. Yeah, sure. And so they show him right. Yeah, now that you've seen our top secret gift store, and he comes out with a Cerritos shirt and a hat. I want to see your work. Oh yeah, we'll get around to that big guy. Come on, And meanwhile, the other bunch are. They've been assigned to anomaly contain collection, where they basically got to collect up all the crap that the senior crew have collected from various planets in there and stuff they really can't just throw into a matter your reclaimer thing to go into. It's got to be collected and stored properly, like little artifacts and scientific things. Most of them very dangerous, turns out. Boimler gets out of it by hooking up with another clique. They're the red shirts. Of course, in this era, red is command, not security. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to be called a red shirt. But these guys who think they're going to be future captains. Jennifer, the Andorian, is one of them. There's a Kazinti. And let's see, one of the guys, I'm forgetting his name, but he's been involved before. But they're in some chick, because apparently, eventually, but they style this as future captains, and they're going to one day rocket their way up. They're all ensigns, by the way. Nobody's scooting anywhere, apparently. But they think they what it takes to make a proper captain. And they're going to take Boimler under their wing. And so they do a bit of a makeover, get his hair styled around, a little gray on the sides. And the big thing is, when they pad out the uniform, where it looks like big broad, that's basically a throwback to the fact that everybody was padded. Michael Dorn's shoulders are not that broad. Okay, everybody had a little padding here and there to make them look more formidable. And Boimler did manage to come up with, because they were doing, okay, now the look. Then you need the rousing, inspirational speech, and he's supposed to do something wrong right now. Yeah, well, what am I doing? Okay, and they throw a few scenarios at him, and he does manage to, after a rather horrible first try, he does a pretty decent inspirational speech. I am proud of this. And around him, he's imagined on the bridge of the Enterprise D. And takes a nice decisive down. Let's do this, and sits down, and then back to reality, which is just a folding chair. But it's like, yeah, good, that's right. And so they figure they've got that guy. They're gonna ride his coattails all the way to command. But meanwhile, Tendi, Mariner, and Rutherford are collecting up various odds and ends from different things. Tendi thinks it's a great adventure. And he has all this great stuff. And Rutherford seems okay, but Mariner's really not having it. It's junk day in her mind. It's just picking up all the crap that everybody else has. And none of it's fun, like all the contraband she has stored all over the ship. It's all boring scientific stuff. And again, stuff that really shouldn't be in someone's quarters. It needs to be in a storage container or a lab somewhere. And they're exposed to kind of the retrograde type of thing to make, and there's an episode, Genesis. Not one of the great ones, but it had some interesting moments where, let's see, Riker turns into a kind of a Neanderthal type. Troy grows gills and turns, I forget what Crusher turned into, but Worf turned into a very scary looking Cro-Magnon Klingon. Right, and now Barclay turned into kind of a spider guy. And well, basically, some of this apparently was one of the items that they came across. And Tendi, with the help of a mood-altering cube, which really kind of sets, just amplifies and really sets her off, and she really turns into a giant green scorpion rampaging through the ship. And so while they're doing, meanwhile, Ransom and I forget the Tellarian's name, they somehow lose track of the Packlet, It's like, how could we lose him? He's too tall and brown. And, and eventually they see him floating by outside the window. It's, oh, crap. Get him back in. And apparently Packlets can survive in the vacuum of space for a period of time. He thought he was going to the bathroom, hit the flush button, and suddenly he's outside. No, it wouldn't be an airlock, would it? No. But as the red shirts are making their way around there, and then Tendi makes it, eventually going to the bar and scaring people, and the red shirts, I think, we're going to inspire the crew. We are the crew! So Boimler jumps in there, and actually, because early on, Boimler tripped and spilled food all over himself, which made Tendi laugh, because mainly the expression on his face just before he got splattered with white stuff. You need to, and once he finds out, what was she handling that made her mood go weird. So, okay, and goes to the replicator and starts replicating food to dump on us and make a total fool of himself to get her to laugh, to break the anger and calm down and get over the stuff, And eventually, it's like he just kind of overloads the replicator to the point where it's like a fire hose, just shooting all kinds of crap and pinning him against the wall. Gets her laughing. She calms down, turns to normal. Oh, the red shirts, they can't have that. You made yourself look like a fool. It's like, I saved to save my friend. You people don't know how to be your own captain, okay? Don't trying to copy other captains. And there's one guy, I never don't need things, but the other guy's like, I should be focusing more on my own duties. And one guy starts chatting him, hey, yeah, sure, we can go see this concert or whatever. As Ransom was walking by, is one guy, I'd like to volunteer to be acting captain. Yeah, sure, whatever. Oh, good work on that, in the bar today, Boimler. It's like, hey. And so on the bridge, this guy is at the helm, and acting captain for about 30 seconds, because then the shift changed. But he gets to sit in the chair for a little bit, and then in comes Shax, and everything else. Shift change! Get out of my chair! Go clean up airlock 17. The Packlet did something unspeakable in there. So much for being the acting captain. And me, then going through all this stuff and realize that they were kind of mean. They shouldn't have been trying to tamp down Nintendo's enthusiasm. They should have been feeding off. And actually, it's kind of fun. Okay. Whereas Tendi was kind of sorry for volunteering them all for anomaly recovery duty anyway, because that was kind of resumption. No problem. Okay, everything's good. And it turns out that Mariner did hold on to a little item. It's kind of a voice. They can project their voices to anywhere any planet they want to. And Tendi, what are we going to do with that? Crank call Armus. Like, ooh. And so cut to the planet where Armus is sitting there wishing he had someone to torture. And hey, Armus! Who is this? And just basically driving him nuts. But yeah, this, I say again, this is proper Star Trek. It's played for laughs. But nothing violent on the strict confines of it doesn't violate continuity. It adds stuff to it. We learned stuff about the Packlets, like how their hierarchy works. Apparently, it's whoever has the biggest helmet. That was the thing. While Freeman's down below, down on the planet, trying to find somebody to negotiate. My helmet's not big enough for that. Oh God, got something. And finally, you get I am King Packlet. Okay, great. I am Emperor Packlet. Oh crap! And then rebels break in. Fight ensues. The king is killed. Now Big Head Packlet will no longer then hold. Ooh, puts the helmet on. I am now king. He is strong. It's good Lord. The thing is just getting weirder and weirder. They think they're constantly calling Freeman Captain Janeway. Apparently, the only female captain they know about. It's like, but they get and then they finally beam down this one Packlet they had on board. Oh, because one of the fighting was they thought they had killed him because they couldn't get a hold of him. Well, we don't know where he is. They find out. Oh yeah, I'm good spy. I learned all your secrets, and you didn't learn anything from me. And then that kind of gives Captain Freeman a, oh, really? Yeah, you were a great spy. I really wish I would knew what the information I couldn't get from you, so I know how good a spy you were. Yeah, we didn't know anything about trying to smuggle a bomb to Earth, and you didn't know about that. No, we didn't. Yeah, two to beam up. And so they managed to foil that plot. But yeah, this is, I wish people would give this show a shot. It is a fun. I was laughing my butt off the thing. It is a good show. I think the big problem is because we have been so stridently defending Star Trek against these idiots over in Kurtzman land that we got a little too precious on it. Okay, if you can't have a little fun with it, then what's the point? And that's what they're doing over on Lower Decks. They're having fun with it, but they're not violating. They're still dealing with some issues here and there, and there's legitimate character growth going on with these characters. We really should give these things a shot. So, it's still going good here. We're up to episode 6, so there'll be 4 more in this season. Now, on other matters, we might get some movement on getting the van fixed on Monday, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it really doesn't change much because we need the money now from what I would be getting, but I'm not getting it. So, links down in the description for the latest fundraiser, because the fundraiser is only around 30 days, so I had to start a new one. And also my personal PayPal, because I've noticed that PayPal takes a bite out of the fundraiser bit. So a lot of people have been doing $1 donations, which is appreciated, but we could frankly use bigger ones or more of them. But I go in to check them. It's like 43 cents, 43. It's like, yeah, they take bites. Okay, so I also my personal PayPal, nobody's getting a bite out of that. Okay, that goes straight to us, a full amount. So, and also you're not on a donator list. So if you want to be shy about it, that's how you do that. Also, Patreon would be good. You can get that back up to where, at least where it was. I was doing like $50, $60 a month on that at one point. Now it's down to 5. Two people are keeping the Patreon alive. Gotta broaden this. Gotta build this channel. So links down below, and we are only paid up through tomorrow. After that, things get very, very weird. So, yeah, if you can't give, please share the links around to somebody who can. I might be doing some live streaming Fortnite tonight with Orge Board. Maybe working a few plugs that way. And they do a little Fortnite for dollars here. Anyway, but on that note, I think we'll wrap it up here, and we'll talk at you later.